So here we are back in our example 1 project. We've got our clip that we put in there earlier, and I'm now going to show you around the timeline properly and what each button does, and we're going to do some basic edits and cuts. Okay, the first things I need to tell you are exactly what these buttons do, but also that there's various shortcuts you can use once you get used to this. Okay, if we start up in the top left first of all, this is basic zoom stuff. Now you can zoom all the way out and then you can see all the various parts of your compilation. Now we've only got one thing in here at the moment, so there's no need for that, but it's just to show you how it works. You can also go all the way into a very detailed level, so that when you're actually editing and you need to cut out parts of the film or the audio, you can see exactly where you stop talking. Now this is very good, especially if you're doing extra takes. As I mentioned in some of the tips, you should always have another go at a sentence if you mess it up, but when you do, leave a bit of a gap. That way you can see when there's a space in the audio later on and it's easier to edit. So if I just zoom out a little bit, I'll show you what I mean. Now also, as I mentioned, I always say what the clip's going to be about before I start recording. Now you can see here that I've actually said something here and then I've got a gap. Now I know, because of the way that I work, that that's going to be me introducing this clip, and then this will be the start of the actual clip that I want to use. So if I hit play now, you can see exactly what I mean.
Okay, this is the first go at the...
As you can see, I'm starting to say what it's about, and then if I skip forward to this part here, by just clicking within this timeline here and going to wherever it is that I click, I can then press play again.
Hey there, welcome to...
And you can see that's where I actually start doing the proper video. Okay, now I know that, that means that I can actually edit this part out that explains what the clip's about, because obviously I don't need that in the final cut. Now the way to do this is to go to the place in the audio where you left the gap deliberately and click on the timeline where you want the playhead to go to. So I'll click just before I start speaking. Now when you're using a person, and obviously you want to make sure that you're not starting it with your mouth wide open like I am right here, and we'll pop it back just a little bit into a place where I've got my standard pose. Again, a tip I gave you earlier on. Now what I can do, if you look at the top of this head, you've got a green and a red either side of it. Now I can drag the green to wherever I want it to begin, and the red is wherever it's going to finish. Now I could have done it the other way round. I could have taken the head to the very start of this and then dragged it all the way with the red. Doesn't matter. Either way is fine, it just means that you're highlighting the bit that you don't need. Now if you want to check that you've actually got the right bit before you cut it, then you can press play up here, or you can hit the space bar and it will play it for you, and it will only play the part that's within that highlighted area. So I'll just do that quickly to show what I mean. I'm going to hit space right now.
Okay, this is the first go at the intro video, so let's think about what we're going to do for this quickly.
As you can see, that's me prepping myself for the intro video, but it also shows that I'm not cutting out anything important that I actually needed. So now I can either go up here and click this scissor icon, which will cut it, or I can press Ctrl and X on my keyboard. So I'm going to click cut. And what this does is it gets rid of that part and it sends everything to the beginning. So now when I press play at the very start.
Hey there, welcome to Access All Areas Green Screen Edition, and
you can see that it actually starts where I want it to start. Now that's all well and good. When you're at the beginning or the very end of a clip, it's very easy to do that. But I'm going to show you how you can edit stuff in between as well. Now this works in pretty much the same way, but I like to split the tracks. This means that I can move them out the way, check I've got it right, and then put them back if I need to. Now to split the tracks, all you do is the same technique. You click where it is you want to start editing. Now obviously there's a gap in this where I've left this space. Now I'm not sure if that's a mistake or whether I've just waited until I started the next phase, so I'll just check that quickly.
Let's crack on, shall we?
Okay, so that's me ending a sentence, and then if I click on the next one, I can see what I actually start doing in the next bit.
Now this course is broken into 3...
There we go, so I've actually started the next thing. So that was just me composing myself and getting ready for the next sentence. So I know that I can cut that middle bit out. So I'm going to click on the beginning of where I want it to be cut out, drag and drop it along if I want to position it slightly differently. Then I'm going to grab the red, I'm going to put it along to where I want it to be. Now I'm going to highlight the track. You do this just by clicking on it. Now with the track highlighted, I can click to split the track, which is this just here. Now rather than a cut, it will actually slice the track in two. So if I click that, you'll see it's now turned into two different tracks. I have this one that starts here, have this one that starts here. You can tell that by the small thumbnail, which shows that it's actually the start of a clip. Now I can drag this head to the green marker. See how it went highlighted, which means I know that I'm on the right place, and I can stop it. Then highlight the track again and click split. And now if I double click anywhere on the timeline, that will get rid of that selection, and you can see I actually have a separate piece of track here. Now I can pick this out now, just dragging and dropping. And what I like to do is I like to throw it out the way, put these two tracks together, and then see how it works. So now I'll press somewhere on this timeline, press play with the spacebar, and see how they work together.
Let's crack on, shall we? Now this course is broken into three.
As you can see, it's now got a perfect edit and it hasn't got that gap in the middle. I can safely highlight this and just delete it by hitting the delete button, or right click and delete. Now if I'd done that slightly wrong, then I don't actually have to redo it all again or undo it all. I can actually just drag the part of the clip along and using the cursor, hover it over the beginning or the end of the track. Now you'll see it's turned into a double arrow. Now I can just click and drag and it'll actually replace the part that I got rid of. Now if I'd have accidentally split something off, I could do the same with the end of this one and drag it all the way out and put it all the way back again. Now you can see it's actually replacing it back, so if you do something wrong it doesn't matter because that is now back again. So if I press play now, I've got the big long pause that I'd got rid of. Now I'm going to actually replace that by just undoing that. Now you can go to edit and undo, or you can press Ctrl and Z if you're on a Windows machine, or the equivalent for undo if you're on another one. So I'm going to undo that all the way back to the cut that we made. And just to check it's all okay.
Now this course is broken into...
There we go, all good. Now a bit later on we'll be using more than one layer, and that's where we get into all sorts of transition techniques, but it's basically the same for anything you want to edit. It's very easy to do once you get used to it, and it's kind of up to you whether you want to use the cut command, the split command, or just dragging the ends of the clips with the double arrow technique that I just showed you. You get the same kind of result with all of them, it's just down to personal preference. I like to know that I've split the tracks up so that they're there if I want to pop them straight back in. But you can always use the undo tool, things like that. It really is down to what you feel best with. As long as you know all three techniques, you can use the ones you like. Now this is pretty simple stuff once you know how to do it. And you do know now, so go out there and give it a try. This is very basic editing techniques, and I will go into more detail in later videos about using layers and also how to actually mark up your video so you know exactly what is where. But for now that's it for this video, so go try it out and I will speak to you in the next video.